What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. In this video, we're going to be doing a penetration test with my AK-47 SBR, and we're going to be shooting at some half-inch sheetrock or drywall up close from about 25 yards away. And we're going to be using a wide variety of factory ammo in this test. We're going to be using full metal jackets, soft points, subsonics, and tactical ammunition. And this is my Zastava M92. I've done a full review of this rifle now that it's considered a rifle legally by the ATF. This is a registered SBR, so this folding stock is legal. And I have this Aimpoint Micro H2. Absolutely love this red dot. It's perfect for an AK pistol or AK SBR or any kind of SBR. I think it's great. I can easily hit a pie plate out to 200 yards with that fine 2 MOA dot. I have this Midwest Industries 4-end, which I absolutely love. It did come with nice wood, but the wood is not as useful as this Midwest Industries 4-end. I just have an Olight Balder light laser attached, and then this is my Silencer Co. Omega 300, which just makes this rifle a dream to shoot. Just super low recoil, super quiet, even with supersonic ammunition. I also swapped out the grip here to a Magpul. I like it much better than the regular AK grip, but absolutely love this rifle. And the ammunition we're going to be using some Norma full metal jacket, PMC full metal jackets, Winchester full metal jackets, Federal Power Shocks, which are soft points, PPU soft points, Hornady Black, which is like tactical ammo, and then Hornady Subsonics. All right, and I'll probably do a follow-up video with hand loads in the future, but let's see what this factory ammo does with the Zastava M92. It's only a 10.5-inch barrel, so the velocities are going to be about 300 to 400 feet per second slower than a full-length AK barrel. But with hand loads, I can actually get the same velocity as a full-length AK. But we're not doing hand loads in this test. We're doing factory ammo, 10.5-inch barrel, AK SBR or AK pistol versus half-inch thick sheetrock or drywall. Let's see what happens. Let's see how many sheets we'll be able to penetrate through and the differences between the different rounds. Federal Power Shock, PPU soft point, Hornady Black, Hornady Subsonic. Norma PMC Winchester. All right, guys, I wanted to go through the sheetrock one by one. So here's the second sheet. The first sheet I have laying on the side to use as a comparison. Here's the second sheet. Here's the third sheet. Here's the fourth sheet. You can see the holes up top are from the full metal jackets, and then you can see some of these other holes here are from the expanding bullets. You can see those holes starting to get larger, and then you can see the difference between the full metal jackets and the expanding bullets. On the bottom left, we got the PPU soft points. Here we got Federal Power Shocks, the Subsonics, and the Hornady Black. You can see the difference between the Winchester full metal jacket, Norma full metal jacket, and PMC full metal jacket. So, and here we have the fifth board. You can still see the full metal jackets still not really changing much how they look. And then here you can see the expanding bullets, the difference, massive holes there. From the expanding bullets, you can see the PPU soft points here, and then the Power Shocks, Hornady Black, and the Subsonics. Still going through sixth sheet. Look at all these big holes here, guys, from the Power Shocks and the Subsonics and the Hornady Blacks, PPU soft points right there. Pretty small holes, full metal jackets, still looking the same. Here we have the seventh sheet, full metal jackets, still looking fine. And then here you can see our expanding bullets. Look at those Power Shock holes, Subsonics, Hornady Black. And then full metal jackets, pretty much the same. Here we have the eighth sheet, full metal jackets, still looking fine. There's the Winchesters, the Normas, the PMCs, and look at the Power Shocks, the massive holes from the Power Shocks right there. Hornady Blacks, not really doing much, and then the Subsonics right there. PPUs are starting to leave a larger hole. So look at the difference between the Power Shocks and the full metal jackets. Huge difference, okay? Here we have the 9th sheet. You can see the full metal jackets all looking good. Power shocks, massive holes, Hornady black, PPUs, and subsonics. And here we have the 10th sheet. Full metal jackets looking good. Power shocks, Hornady black, subsonics, PPU. 10th sheet. And then here we have the 11th sheet. You can see the Normas still looking good. PMC full metal jackets there. Here we got our Winchester full metal jackets. Look at the difference between the Winchester full metal jackets and the PMC and Norma. Huge difference already in the 11th sheet. And then here you can see the Power Shocks, Hornady black, the subsonics, and PPU. And here we have the 12th sheet. Look at the Winchester full metal jackets. Looks like they're tumbling or deforming compared to the Norma and PMC full metal jackets. And I've tested Winchester full metal jackets with 308 and other firearm cartridges, and I have noticed that Winchester full metal jackets are a little bit lower quality compared to like military grade full metal jackets made by Norma or PMC. I've always had good results with Norma and PMC for full metal jacket ammunition. So if you have a military cartridge like 7.62x51 or 308 or 7.62x39, 5.56, the Norma Tactical and PMC X-Tac are my preferred full metal jackets. But here we have the expanding bullets. Look at the Power Shocks, Hornady black, PPU, and the subsonics. So here we have the 13th sheet. You can see the full metal jacket, Norma and PMC still looking the same. Looks like the Winchester's tumbled. You can see based on the shape there that they started tumbling inside of the sheetrock. But the Norma and PMC still going strong. And then here we have the Power Shocks still going through. Hornady blacks looks like they may be tumbling at this point as well. You can see those keyhole shapes. But the Power Shocks still penetrating in a straight line. Here we have one of the subsonics. You can see started to keyhole there in the 13th sheet. Here we have the PPUs still going through. So by the 13th sheet, we already had the Winchester full metal jackets starting to keyhole, the Hornady blacks keyholing, the subsonics, Hornady sub X keyholing, but the rest of them, the Federal Power Shock, PPU, PMC, and Norma full metal jackets still going strong. No keyholing. Here we have the 14th sheet, PMC and Norma full metal jackets still going. Winchester keyholing pretty bad. Power Shock still going straight through. Hornady black keyholing. PPU soft point still going. And the Hornady sub X keyholing. And here we have the 15th sheet. PMC and Norma full metal jackets still going through. Winchester full metal jackets keyholing. Power Shock still going through. PPU soft point still going. Hornady black and Hornady sub X. 15th sheet. Here we have the 16th sheet. Full metal jacket, Norma and PMC still going. Winchester's still going sideways at this point through several sheets. The Power Shock still going straight. PPU soft point still going straight. Hornady black still going sideways. And you can see that keyhole, massive keyhole from the sub X, 255 grain Hornady sub X. And then here we have the 17th sheet. It's going to start getting interesting soon. Winchester full metal jacket still going sideways. Hornady blacks right there. Power Shocks, sub X, PPU soft points. So here we have the 18th sheet and the sub X. The first sub X was stuck in the 18th sheet. So one of the sub X's penetrating through 18 sheets or 17 sheets. We're going to say 17 because it was stuck in the 18th. And then all the other ones still going through. It's crazy how those Winchesters are still going sideways at this point for several sheets. Here we have the 19th sheet. One of the sub X's was stuck towards the bottom of the 19th sheet. So 18 sheets for the second sub X. One of the power shocks was stuck in the 19th sheet, and it actually separated from its core, which is pretty interesting. One of them separated from its core. This one separated, the core separated from the jacket, and it did punch through the paper here. So we're going to say 19 for the power shock, the first power shock, and 17 and 18 for the sub X's. Here we have sheet number 20. They're all still going through. Here we have sheet 21. They're all still going through. Sheet 22. Sheet 23, we have one of the power shocks that got stuck in the 23rd sheet. And it did punch through the paper, so we're going to say 23 for the power shock. So 19 and 23 so far for the power shocks, and 17 and 18 for the Hornady sub X. We got sheet 24 here. You can see the holes from the PMC and Norma full metal jackets starting to get larger. You can see they're starting to keyhole now, much later than the Winchesters started keyholing. Winchesters started keyholing around 10 sheets. These start keyholing like after 20, so big difference there in the stability. Here we have the 25th sheet. You can see the PMC and Normas are really keyholing at this point. The Winchesters are still penetrating, but they're still going sideways. It looks like they kind of turned vertical now. And then here we have the PPU soft points and Hornady blacks still going through. Here we have the 25th sheet. One of the Winchester full metal jackets got stuck in the 25th sheet, and the rest of them still going through. And here we have the 26th sheet, another Winchester. In the 26th sheet, we have a PPU and a Hornady black. So the 26th sheet stopping a lot of them. Hornady black, PPU, and the second Winchester full metal jacket all getting stuck in the 26th sheet. All right, guys, sheet 27, another Hornady black and another PPU. So most of the bullets have already been captured by now. 27 sheets. It's a lot of sheetrock. Let's continue. Here we got the 28th sheet. 29th, Norma and PMC still going through. It's a battle for first place between the Norma FMJ and the PMC FMJ. What do you guys think is going to happen? Who's going to win? I'm going to put my money on Norma based on all the other tests I've done. The Norma FMJs, whether it's 308 or 7.62x39, they always seem to penetrate the most, a little bit more than PMC. But let's see what happens. 29. Here we got sheet 30. Sheet 31, one of the PMCs was stuck in the 31st sheet. Got sheet 32. Sheet 33, the first Norma finally getting captured in the 33rd sheet. So first PMC was 31, first Norma 33. So far Norma winning by 2 sheets. And then here we have the other Norma, 34 sheets. Here we have another PMC, 35 sheets. So it looks like Norma's going to win by 1 sheet. We have another Norma that penetrated. And then here we have the 36th sheet, Norma 1 by 1 sheet, beating out PMC. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to weigh these bullets now. We're going to take a closer look and see what kind of deformation occurred and how much weight they retained. So stay tuned. All right, guys, so we're going to go through the bullets one by one. We'll start with the sub X's. Look at how long these bullets are. They're 255 grain, and you can see not much deformation occurring, even though they are an expanding bullet and they have a very thin jacket at the nose, but they're just traveling so slow that it's just not enough velocity, so the nose kind of just curls over, which is something I've seen with all these subsonic bullets in 4570 and other platforms. These sub-X bullets just roll over like that. Any kind of subsonic bullet, typically that's what happens, especially fired from a rifle, but really long bullets. Let's see how much weight retention we got. So 255.3, wow, so basically retaining 100%. Let's try another one here. 255.3. And then here we got the other one. We got 254. Got 255.3, and I'm guessing that extra weight could be just some drywall that got packed into the nose. You can see this one actually didn't expand at all, and probably a bunch of dust got packed in there, and that's adding extra weight. But basically 100% weight retention for the sub X bullets. And now let's move over to the power shocks. Now, one of these power shocks, the core separated from the jacket. Check that out. So it can actually pull the core out. This is the lead core. And then here's the copper jacket. You could probably use this as a sinker for fishing. Maybe I'll turn this into a fishing sinker. But it did expand quite a bit. Check that out. And even though the core separated from the jacket, it still expanded nicely, and it didn't go sideways. It kept penetrating in a straight line. So for hunting, especially deer hunting, if you want to deer hunt with your AK or 7.62x39, this would definitely do the job. Look at the expansion there, and left a massive hole. But for any kind of heavy game or self-defense, maybe not the best, because it is a cup and core design. But let's weigh the cup and the core and see what kind of weight retention we got. So we got 113 grains of weight retention. Pretty good. Only 10 grains lost. And here we have the other power shock, and you can see this one actually stayed together. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of weight retention we got with this one. Also 113 grains. So both of them, 113 grains of weight retention. Not too bad, only losing 10 grains. Let's go over to the Hornady Blacks now. Hornady Blacks pretty much performing like a full metal jacket out of this 10.5-inch barrel. Not much expansion at all. I'm sure in a long barrel, like 20 or 24-inch AK, these would probably expand a lot more. But, you know, at just over 2,000 feet per second, just not enough velocity for these to expand. These Hornady Blacks are marketed as a tactical bullet. They did penetrate quite a bit, but not much expansion. And interestingly, one of them deformed quite a bit, and then the other one didn't really expand at all. So not really a reliable bullet, in my opinion, for tactical use. you're better off going with something like a Federal Power Shock or a full metal jacket of high quality construction like Norma or PMC. But let's weigh these and see what kind of weight retention we got. So 123 grains, 100%. And then let's weigh the other one now. 121.5, so negligible loss there. So 100% weight retention for the Hornady Blacks. Not too impressed with these except for the penetration, but better off just getting a full metal jacket or getting something like a Power Shock. And here we have the PPU soft points. These performed really nicely. They didn't expand quite as much as the Power Shocks, but they held together. Still pretty decent expansion at the velocities we're dealing with here. Probably would expand more in a full-length AK barrel. We got 117 grains of weight retention, so, 95% plus. And then 120.4, so negligible loss of mass for these two PPUs. I always like the PPU soft points. I think they're a good general purpose bullet for hunting and even for home defense. I've shot a lot of PPU soft points out of my 300 Win Mag, 308, and now 7.62x39. I've always had good results with the PPU soft points. I've tested them extensively. Their velocities are usually pretty good. Accuracy is usually pretty good. So definitely a decent factory load for any kind of 30 cal or even tactical cartridge. And we're going to finish off with the full metal jackets. So here we have the Winchesters. Not much to report here, just typical full metal jacket bullet. Let's see what kind of weight retention we got. Should be 100%. 123.2 and 123.5. So 100% weight retention for the Winchesters. Let's take a look at the base of the bullet. It's always good to check out how the base is constructed. A lot of times these full metal jackets, what will happen is when they hit something hard, if the base doesn't have good construction, the core will be pushed out of the base. So you'll have pressure on the nose of the bullet from hitting something hard, and that'll shoot the core out the base of the bullet if there's not a good roll crimp over the core, holding the core. But looks like this one's fine. And then here we have the Normas. They look fine. Interestingly, the Normas deformed a little bit. You can see they're not perfectly round compared to the Winchesters. The Winchesters probably have a little bit thicker jacket. But let's weigh these and see what kind of weight retention we got. 124 and 124. And then finally, we got the PMC. Looks like they stayed mostly round. They didn't deform as much as the Norma. And then these should be also 123 and 123. So obviously 100% weight retention. So I want to show you guys the difference between these bullets and the construction quality. So on the right here, we have the PMC X-Tac. In the middle, we have the Norma. And then on the left, the Winchester. Look at the Winchester, how perfectly round the bullets remained even after tumbling. And even though they didn't penetrate as much, they maintained their round shape. And the Norma deformed more. You can see more of an oval shape. And the PMC also a little bit more oval. And it just looks like the Winchester has a much thicker jacket. You can see the jacket looks much thicker, and that's why it didn't deform like the PMC and the Norma, but I guess it didn't help the Winchester with penetration, but that could be a velocity issue. If the Winchester's going a little bit faster than these, then it'll tumble sooner. And I'll give you guys a final look at all these bullets. I hope you enjoyed the video. Check out my 7.62x39 playlist for all my 7.62x39 videos. And until the next time, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.